Hi everybody, and welcome back for another segment of Cooking with Z Olive. Tonight I am making one of my favorite personal recipes, a rustic hickory smoked meatloaf. It has always been one of my favorites since I was little, but with the Z Olive twist, it makes it extra good. We're going to be using our hickory smoked balsamic vinegar from Z Olive, and then also our bourbon bacon ketchup from Z Olive as well. And then I am going to use a little bit of our garlic infused olive oil too to help flavor a couple of the other ingredients. So with that being said, let's get started. I'm really excited, and I think it's going to taste really good. Look at all these delicious ingredients. Not too many things to make this really delicious meal, but most importantly, we have our Z Olive products here. Alright, so the first thing we want to do here is to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to prepare our onions that are going to go into our meatloaf. So as you can see here, I've already pre-chopped up a white Vidalian onion, and I'm not a professional chef. I do want to put that out there, so this is not a really great chop job, but it'll do the trick. So first we're going to take a saute pan, and we're going to add just a little bit of Z Olive's garlic infused olive oil, just enough to coat the pan there. And we're going to let that heat up on the eye of the stove. You want to always let your oil heat up before you add your food to the pan. So we'll give it just a minute to do that here. Alright, so our oil is already almost heated up here. And I should say, I am using the garlic infused olive oil, but you can use any Z Olive's olive oils here with this that you would like to. You could do the Tuscan herb, the Italian herb, roasted garlic, any of those that might be your favorite. I just thought the garlic would give the onions a really nice flavor. So now that my oil is nice and heated, I'm just going to go ahead and add my onions to the pan. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my onions on the stove here, sauteing those up in my garlic infused olive oil. I'm just going to continue to stir them until they're nice and browned. Or not brown, but like a golden brown. That process should take about 4 to 5 minutes. And you can also add green peppers to this. I know some people do like to add green peppers into their meatloaf recipe. I'm not doing that tonight just because I am just not personally a fan of that ingredient in a meatloaf. But if that is something that you like, you can add some chopped green peppers in at this point as well. So we're going to just speed up this process here a minute, and I will see you on the other side. Alright, so our onions are starting to get just a little bit of that golden color here. If you're an onion fan, you can leave them a little firmer. If you want them a little softer, you can cook them a little longer. But for now, I think I'm just going to stop right here and move on to our next step. Okay, so I have got my onions over here to the side cooling. I am making sure to turn off my stove because I'm notorious for that. And we'll move on to making our actual meatloaf. So I am using a little less than 2 pounds of ground chuck. That just kind of depends on how many people you are making your meatloaf for. This is serving 2 to 3 people tonight. So I chose to use, it's probably about 1 pound and 3/4 maybe. So the first ingredient we are going to add is our breadcrumbs. I like to use the Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, but this is about 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. Pour that in there. And now a little bit of an Italian seasoning mix. It's just a dry spice that I picked up at the store. It's got like basil, sage, rosemary, oregano. You can get just the pre-mixed Italian spice pack if you want. I know a place you can get it. The Olive has a great Italian spice mix already prepared for you. But of course you can make up your own if you would like, using whatever herbs you prefer. And just add that into the meatloaf here. I've got a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And then finally I've got about a tablespoon of minced garlic. We're going to add that in there. Alright, and now I'm going to add more of my wet ingredients to make that meatloaf sticky and make sure it holds together in the oven. So first I'm going to add an egg. Put the shell onto the side. And then finally, our most important ingredient, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of the Olive's Hickory smoked balsamic vinegar. This is probably my favorite balsamic out of all of the savory flavors that we use. I just love the hickory smoked flavor. It's an actual smoked balsamic. They do it here locally at our warehouse. But you could use other flavors as well. You could do garlic chili. You could just use our traditional balsamic vinegar. Garlic cilantro might even be a really interesting choice. But the hickory smoked balsamic is definitely one of our best sellers for the summer while everybody's doing their outdoor grilling and barbecuing. So that's what I chose to use in this recipe. So we're just going to add that in here. Alright, so you can see I've got all of those ingredients in here now, and I am just going to go ahead and mix that up. Alright, so now that I've got that pretty well mixed up, I'm going to just add our last ingredients, our golden onions that we created at the beginning of this segment. I wanted to let them cool a little bit before I started to mix them in with my hands. And we'll just give those another mix in here. Alright, so here is where we should be up to this point. You've got all of your ingredients mixed together in the same bowl here, and we're going to mold our loaf. So I like to use just a clear glass baking dish. I'm going to, once again, use my hands to lift my meatloaf out of the pot here and just to start to kind of make that loaf shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to make it into shape here. Should be nice and sticking well together with the ingredients that we used. There we go. Alright, so now it is time for our final step. I'm going to be using the bacon bourbon the olive ketchup as my ketchup on my meatloaf. So I am just going to drizzle some of this over the top of the meatloaf. You can already smell the bacon. And I'm just going to brush this lightly on a thin layer. And I mean, I think a lot of people do this a little bit differently depending on just how much ketchup you like with your meatloaf. But I do personally just a thin layer over all sides. But if you want to do a little more on the top, or if you want to let your meatloaf bake a little while first before putting it on, some people do that too. Sometimes about like 15 minutes before mine's done, I'll take it out and put a little bit more ketchup on the top as kind of a nice little topping to crisp up. So we are ready to put our meatloaf into the oven. Alright, so you're going to let that bake for about 45 minutes, depending on your oven and how well done you like your meatloaf. I like mine a little bit more well done. So I will see you back here in 45 minutes. Alright, so we're back and it's time to take our meatloaf out of the oven. It smells so good. There we go. So any meat dish like this, I do like to let it rest for about 5 minutes. So I will let that happen and then we'll cut it up and get it on a plate. And here it is, the final product with some side items there. It smells so good. I cannot wait to eat this for dinner. And there you have it, the final products. Thank you for joining me for another Cooking with Z Olive. I hope that you try this recipe at home. If you do and your meatloaf is amazing, just like I know it will be, let us know by posting pictures of it, posting it on your Facebook and Instagram, tagging Z Olive. Of course, any of the ingredients that you saw tonight that were from Z Olive, you can order right now at www.zolive.com. Make sure you are following us on our Facebook page and our Instagram so you can see future videos. And if you've missed any of our past videos, you can go find them on our Facebook page right now and catch up on those too. So I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. And one last thing, we do have a contest going on right now on our Facebook page. It ends at the end of this month. And all you have to do is just submit a recipe idea using one of Z Olive's olive oils and one of Z Olive's balsamic vinegars. It can be any recipe that you like to make at home with Z Olive products, with your two favorite products, and whichever two products you pick, whoever the winner is going to get those two products sent to them in the mail for free. It's a really fun giveaway. The recipe that we choose, I'm actually going to make it in my next video. So I look forward to seeing all of your ideas. I hope that you all participate. And of course, if you have any questions, let us know in the comment section below. Hope you all have a great night.